Over the years, we've seen a vast rise of media, whether that be through digital media or social media. And due to this rise of media, we've also seen a rise of pressures. Pressures to be politically activated and everything. Pressures to always look good online. And I feel like one group that's deeply been affected by this pressure is Gen Z. I really do believe that the overconsumption of media has affected not only Gen Z's behavior skills, but most importantly for me, their social skills as well, their social interactions and the way that they carry themselves. And we're just going to have a deep dive discussion about this in today's video, so stay tuned for this. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is social media and the effects that it can have on people's self-esteem. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about myself for a second because I'm self-centered. So I was born in 2004, and I think the first time I was properly exposed to social media was when I was like in year 4, year 5. And how old are you then? I don't know. Hold up. Oh yeah, I was like 9, 10 years old. I had to do like a quick little search. And I think like my earliest memories of social media was seeing like my big sister, she's just 2 years older than me, just seeing her on Instagram, like stalking like through her like phone and stuff. Sorry, I was looking through your phone. And also like seeing like my mom's Facebook account. But that was basically it. And even though it's generally not a long period of time, in a span of like 11 years ago, 12 years ago to now, we've really seen how much kids are actually being raised on social media. For example, why on earth are parents making, not all parents of course, why are parents making like accounts for their babies who are literally like 3 years old? I just find that very weird to me. And we can have a discussion about like the good parts and the bad parts of social media, but for now I want to talk about like one of like the biggest bad parts of social media, which is the effect it can have on people's self-esteem. On social media, I feel like it goes without saying, but I feel like some people actually do need a reminder about this. And people who need a reminder about this are Gen Z, are young people. On social media, everyone is living a big old fat facade, as in everything is not how it seems to be. For instance, if you like stalk someone's social media profile, we've all done it before, you literally only see like their highlights. Quite literally on the Instagram profile, it's their highlights. You see like their best moments, you see them eating at like what, flipping Hakkasan, going to Turkey, you know, being flown out. Their Instagram looks so like aesthetically perfect with people. That doesn't reflect how their day-to-day life is actually going. I honestly don't post on social media at all, but if you literally went through my Instagram account, have a little peek, and it's in the description. You'll literally just see like my best parts. But I'm not gonna record myself breaking down or crying or having a panic attack, because why on earth would I show you guys that? We're in quite a complex era of social media where so much is happening right now. But I think one thing that's become like apparently present, and yeah, apparently present, is like the perfectionism era, whereas like everyone's like going to, which it doesn't sound bad in hindsight, but it's like everyone's going to the gym, everyone's like hustle mindset, everyone's cracking down, getting work done, you know, everyone's perfect online. And even though I'm 20 years old right now, even though I'm about to say you shouldn't compare yourself to people on social media, sometimes you just subconsciously just do. Where like for me, for example, it's like I can just go on like my feed, even though I know I'm doing well in my life, I could go on my feed and I'll see someone my age is earning like a better income than me, or like they've got a car, they're going to the gym every single day. I'm just like, oh yeah, F you, F you, F you, F. Nah, I'm kidding, not F you, F you. But it's just like, oh crap, I'm not doing any of those things. Thinking back to my teenager days, that makes me sound like I don't even know, but it literally like 2 years ago. Thinking back to like my teenager days, the only thing that you want, oh my gosh, there's a helicopter, can you guys hear that? The only thing that you want to do as a teenager is fit in, and one of the best ways you can fit in is just adhering to what is popular or trending on social media right now. So if the trend is, I don't know, avocado toast, that's the first thing that came in my mind. Avocado toast every morning, you're gonna post that. If the trend is, you know, going to the gym and, you know, taking creatine at age 12, which I don't recommend at all, then that's what you're going to do. And it's so crazy, like, seeing this through, like, my adult lens, is that, like, so many of the trends that are on social media are for adults. You know, like, as a 12-year-old, as a 14-year-old, I don't think that you should be at, like, the gym, like, 4 to 5 days per week. I don't think you should be in your soft glam. No, not soft glam. What was it? I can't remember what it was called. I can't keep up with these things. But it was, I remember seeing this video. If I find it, I'll put it here. Of this literal like 8-year-old girl who's on TikTok. She's like, do my skincare routine with me to like stop aging and wrinkles. And it's like, you're like 8 years old, you know, like that shouldn't even be like a concern in your mind. And here's the thing that's so detrimental. As I said, so many people who are in Gen Z are watching and following the livelihoods of people who are older than them online. And just because they're older than them doesn't mean that they're putting content that is wise out there. For example, I'm tired of these tired ass podcasts. Oh my gosh, would you guys dare a girl who does OnlyFans? Oh my days, like, how high is high body count? Oh, who should pay on the first date? Like, just, you know, like, just the most boring idiotic conversations that are taking place in human history. And nowadays I feel like there's like a shortage of media that's dedicated for preteens. So long are the days of like Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, you know, That's a Raven, bangers like that. Kids are being raised on TikTok, on Instagram. And if you want like a further discussion about this, I've actually done like a proper video titled What Happened to Content, and you know, it's all here on the screen, so definitely go check that video out. As previously mentioned, there are positive and negative things about social media, and I think one of the I'm gonna keep this in, I don't care. One of the best things about social media is that you can stay politically activated on so many things. I think one of the best things about social media is the way that it can connect so many people in like a global atmosphere. For example, you could be scrolling through Instagram or scrolling through TikTok and learn about like a conflict that is going on in a very small country that's like 1 billion miles away from you. And truth be told, there's like so much like personal journalism that people have done through social media. For example, like what I'm doing right now on like being a YouTuber, like 20 years ago or something like that, maybe like I would have had to like go in like an apprentice at like a news company or maybe been like a news anchor. But now I can actually like create my own stories and to raise awareness on issues just from like the comfort of my home and just through the power of my phone and Instagram. One of like the most recent times where we're all talking about global issues was in 2020 with the Black Lives Matter movement. And I feel like that was such a pinnacle time in literal history because everyone was talking about Black Lives Matter. It was number one on trending for like such a long period of time, and there was so much awareness that was spread and shared. And even though everything that I said in that last point sounds really, really positive, I feel like it's really affected the way that Gen Z approaches and looks at news and world affairs issues. Looking back at 2020, everyone was posting the black square, everyone was posting hashtag Black Lives Matter. But if you ask people, okay, what's your opinion on this? Or what do you think about this? Or what are you doing to actually change this? Lots of people will just be looking at you like... I feel like in like the era of social media that we're in right now, global topics and real life global issues become like trending topics. Or it's like, okay, maybe it's cool for this month to raise awareness on this. Or let me put like the watermelon emoji in my bio, but I don't really know what's going on, but this just looks cool right now. I don't want to say cool because it's not cool, like world monstrosities and stuff. And something that I've really had to like learn and like mature from in like my own life is that even I'm someone who's like deeply passionate about like so many racial issues. One thing that I've learned is like I actually generally can't convince or force anyone to care about issues that I care about. Even if they're like global hard-hitting issues, some people just don't care. It's ignorant, it's sad, but that's just like a blunt, harsh reality. And like the dangerous thing about like social media is like there's no end. Like doom scrolling is a real thing. Like there's no end. You can be on TikTok just scrolling. Oh my gosh, now it's pitch black. It's been like 2 hours. That's 2 hours of my life that's literally just gone because I was just scrolling. And one thing as a YouTuber, I can actually see these analytics of how long people pay attention to shorts. And for me, hey, maybe this means I need to make better shorts. Oh! I've had shorts where I've talked about deep issues and I've seen that people are only watching it for like 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. And at first it makes you feel like, oh crap, no one's watching my shorts. But then it's like, hold up, when you just look at people, you just see people are just scrolling. And it's like, that can actually add to like a desensitization. Yes, a desensitization of deep real life issues. You can open up your phone and go on TikTok and like the first thing you'll see is like a cooking video, and you swipe and you see like there's videos of like a war. Then you swipe again and you see like there's ice cream videos. Then you swipe how to make money, gym content, how to do this, and it's just like, wow, in like the span of like 15 seconds, you can see so much. So flipping much. And with that TikTok analogy that I was talking about, it's like your brain is going to like 1,000,001 places and like you're feeling so many different emotions in like the span of 15 seconds. That's mad. I did some further research on this and this is called attention fragmentation, which is where the brain is continuously shifting focus rather than engaging deeply with one idea. And I feel like so many kids who are online are actually so overstimulated and overloaded by information that, as I said, it makes them feel like so desensitized to real life issues because it's just like a TikTok scroll rather than an actual prevalent issue. And I feel like the high consumption of social media, always scrolling, always making sure that you're politically activated and keeping up to date with everything that's going on in the world online has come with like such a low actual attention span in real life. So high scrolling, low attention span. I feel like it's something that's affected like everyone, but for now I'm gonna just focus on Gen Z. With like the high consumption of like TikTok and like social media in general, it's just become so hard to just be productive or to just settle down and focus on one task and one thing. It's like we always have to be like overstimulated with things. And here's a personal like example of this. This is something that's actually just so mad to think about. But I remember I was out in Tanzania, and then I just saw like my grandparents who were just sitting outside. Just sitting outside like this, like getting fresh air. And I just looked at them and I felt so sad because like, oh my gosh, like they look so sad, they look so sad. But I was like, are you guys okay? Like, yeah, we're fine, we're perfect. It just made me think about like me and like my own life. It's like, crap, if I was just sitting outside, maybe I'd have like music playing in the background. I'd have like my headphones on to relax. I'd have like a podcast playing in the background, you know, something like some sort of like media to keep me like simulated, like to help me like focus and sit down in one spot. But like, that's not good. That's actually not good. I can notice things in myself as well. I'm not dragging Gen Z in the slightest. One thing that's like an unfortunate truth is like the adultification of youth. So many people treat people who are like 14 and they treat them like they're adults. So when they see someone who's like in Gen Z, if they're going off the rails, they automatically just talk bad about them instead of offering like guidelines or support. But there's so many unfortunate scenarios which causes so many people to be destructive, such as like their home life situations and just so many destructive things that are going on with like their family dynamics. And we're just going to delve deep into that in this part of this video, so stay tuned. Raising kids, especially, well, not even just in 2025, what I was about to say, but just raising kids, period, is such a crazy ass task because wow. Technology has evolved and changed even in the span of 5 years. In the span of 5 years, technology and media has changed so much. And I think if you want to have kids, or if you're raising kids, especially now, or if you want to just get into a career of like childcare, it's so important to know what on earth is going on in the technological space, because that's going to have such a huge effect on children. And the consumerism nature of technology has changed and evolved so much in like the span of 20 years. 20 years ago, the standard technology was maybe, I remember we had like this big, that box TV, maybe my parents had like a phone between them and a laptop. Nowadays, kind of like the standard, like every sibling's got the latest iPhone or latest Samsung. There are like 2 laptops, there's a TV next to the jacuzzi, and then there's a TV there over there, there's a burner phone. Like we've got so much media and so much technology in our homes. And here's the thing that's like, it's an unfortunate reality and an unfortunate truth that so much like media and so much technology has become like the pacifiers and like the babysitters for kids. And unfortunately, as I said, unfortunate reality is that cost of living crisis is an absolute shambles. Eggs and bread are not how much they used to be. And so many parents and so many like carers have to work overtime, have to work jobs on top of their jobs just to make ends meet. So many parents unfortunately aren't at home as much as they want to be. And as I said, like it's kind of like a necessary evil. It's generally not easy. So many parents are like, oh, okay, I need to be out for the day, but my kids are going to be okay because they've got a TV, they've got a laptop, and they've got a phone. Like that's so much media, like they're going to be good. Do you guys even know what they're consuming? You know how easy it is to clear search history? Doop. I remember one time I was on the bus, and this was very interesting to see in real time. There was a mum and 2 of her kids, and like the kids were literally like this, and all of them were on their phones. All of them. Like they had like their own phones, and for like the span of like 15-20 minutes, no one uttered a word to each other. And as much as in this video I've titled it, the overconsumption of media has affected Gen Z, the overconsumption of media has affected everybody. And for so many people, so many like parents are glued to their phone. So many parents are glued to their phone. So now it makes me think, and obviously it's not coming from like a place of judgment. It's like, let's say there's like a family at home, everyone's just on their phones. When do you have the time to socialize with each other? When do you guys have the time to actually interact with each other and like ask each other about their days? And I don't know, like play a board game or something like off the phone time. And that's not, as well as I said, not just the kids, but also the parents as well. And it's like, if at home people aren't socializing, how on earth do you expect them to socialize in school? How on earth do you expect them to be attentive in school? If that's not been like a primary focus at the home, the rest is gonna spill. You know, phones are actually generally so distracting. I'm not trying to sound like, oh, ban the phones, because that's not what I believe in. But have you ever been talking to someone and then like they're just like, oh yeah, I'm listening. Oh, Yeah, I'm listening. Right. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like trying to talk to someone who's on their phone is it's impossible. It's actually impossible because they're just tuned out from everything. And I feel like if you're a parent, you can't afford to be tuned out. You cannot afford to be tuned out from your child's life. And I think something about like social media and like media is that even though I've spoken about lots of like the negatives, so many people, so many like young people and people just of all ages have found so much comfort through media. Even like there are people I'm sure you can find on like TikTok or like on YouTube where there are people who are like pretending to be people's moms, pretending to be people's dads, giving them like insightful information and just making them feel like happy. Even if you look at like ChatGPT is basically like a built-in like therapy, like free therapy. You can talk on that thing for hours and hours and hours and hours. An unfortunate reminder is that so many people overconsume media so that they can feel instant gratification and just instant dopamine. And for some people, like media and the world of like the online world is like the escapism. So that's why I can't knock it completely off. And I can give like a real life example of this. I have a friend and it's a bit sticky. I had a friend who was constantly always gaming, always on like what was it, like a tablet and always on like the Xbox and PS5s and all that stuff. And the reason why they were constantly on their game for like literally all day was to drown out the noise of their parents arguing. And as someone who's literally just got off his teenage years, I'm 20, it's so crazy to think about like my teenage years because it's such like it's a weird, like complex several few years. And I think more than ever, what like so many like Gen Zers, so many young people, what they want is like attention. And unfortunately, so many people aren't getting it at home, so they look elsewhere. And the closest elsewhere in our generation right now is media. Okay, let me give a first-hand example of this. There's something in hindsight, it sounds very small, but I actually felt really bad about this. I remember it was like a year ago or 2 years ago. I saw one of my friends who was like, how old was she at the time? 16, 15, doing GCSEs. And then we're just talking, catching up for a bit. And I was like, oh gosh, how are you feeling about your GCSEs coming up? And she was like, I'm so stressed and I'm so nervous, I'm so anxious. And that conversation happened when I was out of school. And since I've been out of school, there have been so many dilemmas I've had to face. Like, you know, the big ones, like the job rejections and like, you know, being broke and stuff like that, like navigating like your life and your career. That like GCSEs, like even in the position that I'm in my life right now, GCSEs feel like so minuscule. So when she told me about that, I went, oh, you'll be fine. And in hindsight, I was like, it took, you know, when you think about things like a year later, I remember that like 1 year later, and I just felt really bad because I was like, I didn't even like validate her feelings at all. I just told her, ah, you'll be fine. And oh my gosh, hey, ooh, it made me feel like a grown person. Now I'm deeping it now. It made me feel like a grown person because I was like, I'm proper dismissing how someone who's young was feeling. And so many teenagers and so many Gen Zers are literally just going, wait, teenager and Gen Z, that's the same thing. They're going through so flipping much. And even though it doesn't, like the problems that they're facing aren't like real life problems, it's still real life problems to them. And with that in mind, it can come like a competition between like child and parent, where it's like a child could be like, oh, I'm going through like, oh my gosh, my GCSEs are causing me so much stress. And then the parent might be like, hey, but cost of living is so high, rent is so high, I need to work 5 times a week. And it's like, it's not a competition. Even if the things like the stress and the worries are different, it's not a competition. And lots of people, unfortunately, lots of young people aren't actually listened to. So you know what they do? They go upstairs, they slam the doors, and they go on technical day because that's their sign of comfortability. I just want to close off this video saying that we have to be so attentive to the lives of young people, not in a sense of like micro analyzing or a place of like judgment, but in a case of guidance and just in a place of like love in general. And just to keep like validating like their feelings and making sure that they're heard so they don't run online for validation. And yeah, I think that's the best way to end off this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. If you want to keep up with me, my socials are in there, and please be sure to leave me like a nice, respectful comment section. Let's keep it nice and, yeah, respectful. And yeah, I don't like doing outros. Bye. just like, oh crap, I'm not doing any of those things. I hope this video was good. I don't know if you guys could tell. My nose is a bit snuffy. I'm a bit under the weather, but we're gonna get out of this. Stay hydrated. And oh, subscribe, please. It'll cure my stuffiness.